Okay, so hello, my dear friends. Am I live here? Will you be able to hear me, see me properly? Okay, let me wait for 1, 2, 3 minutes and we will continue our discussion today, because today's topic is going to be very unique and very interesting topic upon the importance of planet Mercury and Mars with regards to your marriage and the married life aspect. Okay, so let me wait for. Okay, will you be able to hear me properly? My audio is coming. Okay, just give me 1 second. Am I live? Okay, yes, okay, yes, I hear you well. Okay, thank you so much. So first of all, today's topic is going to be the importance of planet Mercury and planet Mars in Vedic astrology, specifically with regards to your marriage and married life aspect. Although you have found many videos over the discussion of importance of Venus and Jupiter in marriage, but today's topic is going to be a bit unique and very different topic that I would like to discuss with you. And initially in this session, I'm going to be covering planet Mercury, like how Mercury is going to be playing a very important role, because Mercury is actually the bhagya of your marriage. Okay, Mercury is gaining control over the two most important houses in the Kalpursh Kundli, that is the 3rd house and the 6th house. So if you count from the 7th house of your marriage and married life aspect, this 3rd house is actually going 9 places away. So it means there is going to be a strong influence of Mercury in actually determining the bhagya. Bhagya means the fortune or the luck factor of your marriage and the married life aspect. And Mercury is also gaining direct access over the 6th house with the sign of Pisces. So any sort of divorces, litigations, negative things are also connected with this planet actually. Even any sort of cheating and these things are also seen with this Mercury. So we are going to be first of all decoding this planet, and I request you to please check this planet of Mercury in your astrological chart as well and try to connect the points that I'm going to be discussing with you. Second part of this live session is going to be towards our dear planet Mars. Okay, now planet Mars in Vedic astrology help us to determine the Mangalya Sukh. Mangalya Sukh simply mean marital bliss. Okay, so the amount of happiness that you are going to be receiving in your marriage, specifically through your partner. So that Mangalya Sukh, specifically the married and married life aspect, is determined using planet Mars. And if you are a female watching this video, then please don't miss the Mars part. Okay, because Mars will eventually going to be playing a very important role in the intimacy of the females. Okay, it's going to be a different from the male chart, but Mars will help us to determine the Mangalya Sukh. Mars is also the planet which represents the fairness of the marriage actually, like if you love someone, so up to what extent you are willing to go towards protecting your marriage and the married life aspect. So you see these two are total different energies, because if you look at planet Mars, it's gaining control over the 1st and the 8th house of the Kalpursh Kundli. So from the 7th house, this 8th house is going 2 places away. So 8th house represents the gain of the marriage. So Mars is the planet anywhere posited in the chart. This is actually going to be symbolizing the gain of marriage into your life. Whereas anywhere Mercury is posited in the chart, Mercury is the planet which represents the loss of your marriage. Okay, so any big losses in the marriage is seen through Mercury, and any big gains in the marriage, or how well you will be able to protect your marriage and the married life aspect, that part is going to be clearly determined using planet Mars. Okay, and lastly we will also try to emphasize our deep focus over the relationship between planet Mercury and Mars in your chart, because the relationship aspect between both of these grahas will eventually help us to determine the true impact that is going to be happening into the marriage part. You have also mentioned Scorpion fire. Could you explain the symbolism between a Mangal Sutra and Mars in the marriage? Yes, definitely I will discuss that part, because you understand Mars is red in color. So in our Vedic tradition, in our specifically Hindu community, if you see, as soon as the female is actually getting married, so everything is red, completely red. The sindoor which the females are having, okay, so that sindoor is also red in color. The clothes which she is wearing, it's actually red in color. Even in certain parts of the India, they wear certain tabijes. Well, it's the chain actually. That part is also going to be having the yellow color beads in it, along with the red color beads. So red is the symbolism of Mars. So red color, and this part Mangal Sutra, will discuss that part. But first of all, let's me actually try to decode this Mercury. And I even request you to, if you in between even want to ask certain questions, you can feel free to ask me in the live chat also, and I will try my best to in this session, whatever questions and queries are going to be, and I will also try my best to take one question and answers session by the end of the session, or maybe I'm going to thinking about doing more such live sessions where I'm going to be specifically taking the questions of you people. Okay, now let's come to our dear planet Mercury. Now see, understand one very important thing here. This is a very tricky planet in Vedic astrology, Mercury, because this is the planet which actually governs the intelligence of a person. So intelligence is not only required in your career, job, making money, or in the financial side of the life. I totally understand it requires some sort of intelligence, but in the relationship aspect also, in the married life aspect also, you require some level of intelligence. And this intelligence will help you in making some critical and the crucial decisions, okay? Because you need to understand one very important thing here. The main reason in the 21st century why the relationships and the marriages are falling apart is none other than this single most planet Mercury. This is a very mischievous entity in Vedic astrology. Although if you are having any other planet debilitated in the chart, it may be suppose your Saturn is debilitated, Jupiter is debilitated, still it's not going to be a problematic thing. Okay, but if this graha Mercury is actually getting debilitated in the chart, anywhere I'm telling you, and specifically if Mercury is your Atamkark planet, even it's your Darakarka also, planet holding the highest degree and even the lowest degree in your horoscope, forming any sort of connection with your 7th house. It may be forming some prominent connections with the 7th house lord, either in the D1 chart and even in the D9 chart, okay? So any special positions which are attained by Mercury in your horoscope is actually responsible for, first of all, how well or how effective you are in communicating or sharing your problems with your partner actually. Because the number one reason is not actually the emotional intimacy between two people. Although in the matchmaking part, these parts are going to play a very important role. We look into planet Moon that governs your emotional connection between you and your partner. So we try to understand or study the relationship between planet Moon in both male and female charts together. Then we will even try to understand love compatibility is also very important. So we give attention towards Venus to Venus relation. Then we even give attention to planet Mars because it's the karka of your sexual companionship. We also give preference to Jupiter because this is the planet which represents spiritual compatibility after marriage analysis. So we are actually giving importance to all the planets in Vedic astrology. But here the neglected planet is Mercury, and this is the planet which helps us in creating the effective bond with our partner. And that is the number one reason in the 21st century why the relationships are breaking apart. Because one side of the Mercury is very constructive side. And that constructive side is seen through the sign of Gemini actually. Anywhere in your horoscope, anywhere, astrological chart, whichever ascendant you are going to be. So So the sign of Gemini, anywhere in the astrological chart where that is posited or where the Mercury is posited, that is going to be the constructive side of the marriage and the married life aspect. And that is actually represented through your communication. How well, how effective you are communicating your emotions, your thoughts in front of other people. Because I have seen many in my day-to-day consultations, the main issues which nowadays couples are facing is my partner is not expressive in nature. It may be because of some other financial burdens, career burdens in the family, but the main part is lack of expression. So the thought of expression is not there. And it's not actually, if you even look into your college, school days, no one is going to teach you this part. Like what is the importance of effective communication if you are married. So it's not, no one is going to teach you. And that is the reason why the more declining factor is coming into the marriage and the married life aspect. Because even I will tell you, if you are having a good love compatibility, emotional compatibility, not most of the time you are going to be feeling love with your partner. Even not most of the time you are going to be having emotional needs with the partner. I understand emotional intimacy is important part, but it's not like that if you are married with someone and you are going to be staying rest of your life, like next 40, 50 or even 60 years with one person. So it's not going to be going more towards your emotional needs, even the love needs or the sexual needs also. Because these are the activities which you are not performing most of the time. The most of the time is what is happening between a husband and a wife, or even in the initial stages of any relationship, it's the communication. So the starting point of any relationship is going to be determined using planet Mercury. So how well the Mercury is positioned in your astrological chart is first of all going to determine the importance of communication and the importance of bhagya in the marriage part actually. And you need to first of all check one very important thing here. Try to study Mercury relationship from your 7th house. If your Mercury is going quadrant places away, if it is going trine places away, or it's forming a Khadashtak or the 6-8 combination, you need to analyze this planet into the more detailed manner. Because Mercury, I told you, it's the effective communication which is going to be happening on day-to-day basis. It's going to be all the detailed conversations. It may be as a husband and wife, you want to make some important decisions in your life. It may be you are responsible for forwarding your relationship into the next phases actually. So without taking the help of Mercury, it's not possible. And that is the planet which also represents the in expressions. The thought where the person will not be able to express and share his and her emotions in front of other people. It's not you need to understand the linkage properties of the planets also. It's not a bond between the mother and a child. Like if mother have the capability to understand the silence of the words of the child, and you are thinking same thing is happening in the marriage part also, sometime it's not going to be working out like that. Because not many individuals, they are going to be having very perfect companionship. And that is the reason whenever, if you are not married yet, you are looking for your companionship with your partner, or if you are finding a life partner right now, first of all, try to analyze your Mercury. Look in which zodiac signs your Mercury is posited, whether it's in the air zodiac signs, which represents the actual thought of expressions which are going to be present inside you. And then try to analyze the Mercury into your partner's chart as well. Like in which element, first of all, the Mercury is going to be posited in both of your astrological chart. This will eventually help you to determine the strength of the marriage. And the strength is very important, you understand? In order for you to sustain the marriage, that strength and the bond part is very important. So please do not neglect this single most planet Mercury. Along with the emotional compatibility, love, sexual, even spiritual compatibility, financial compatibility also, this part is very important. Because I told you Mercury is the bhagya, fortune of your marriage. Now the negative side of Mercury is cheating actually. And that is the most negative trait of this single most planet. First of all, it's a dual graha, because Mercury is having a very dual characteristics. Yes, other planets, Jupiter is also having the dual nature, but not like the Mercury actually. It's a very flickery kind of a planet, because Mercury tend to lose interest very easily, very easily. Mercury is that kind of a planet that want new things most of the time. And that is where any affliction towards Mercury will eventually going to be creating many problems in the marriage and the married life aspect. Specifically debilitated Mercury in the sign of Pisces. And I will tell you, Mercury debilitation is a more severe dosha rather than any Saturn, Jupiter or Sun debilitation. If these other planets are debilitated, yes, they are going to be creating impact into the life, but not up to the core extent. But if the Mercury is debilitated in the horoscope, you are going to be facing its negative impact most of the time. Because you need to understand one very important thing here. Mercury is gaining control over the two zodiac signs, and most of the time, Mercury is a planet which will definitely form some connection with the 7th house lord, planet sitting in the 7th house, aspecting the 7th house, becoming the Darakarka, or in connection with the 9th house lord, or in the prominent positions in the Navamsha Kundali. And this is the single most planet which represents the aspect of cheating as well. And let me tell you very significant thing here, why the cheating aspect will come in the marriage and the married life aspect, because it's seen through Mercury. If your Mercury is afflicted in the horoscope, then it's quite difficult for you to stay happy and consistent in one relation. I will also try to discuss retrograde Mercury also, combust Mercury also. But first of all, if Mercury is not very well posited, and if it is not forming a good connection with your 7th house or even with the 7th house lord, then this is going to create the symbolism of extramarital relationships as well. Because this is the planet which is also responsible for great amount of demands in the marriage and the marital life aspect. Rahu is the number one planet which is going to be creating a lot of demands. It's like hell lot of expectations from the other person. And it becomes very difficult for a one person to satisfy the expectations of Rahu. Specifically if Rahu is in the 7th house of the marriage and marital life aspect. And you can pick up any astrological chart, any person with the Rahu in 7th, and you will see how difficult their marriage and married life is going to be. Although I'm not here saying Rahu is going to break the bond, but you will find the amount of difficulties because of the demanding nature. Similarly with Mercury actually. Because Mercury represents that level of thought processes inside a person, where the person is thinking like that, in order for my own mental and my hormonal growth actually, I will not be able to find satisfaction with one particular person. And that is the reason, if your Mercury is very afflicted in the chart and you tend to get married with the person with a very good Mercury, that other person is going to be very contented, okay, in the relationship. But because of your afflicted Mercury, this is going to be creating problems in both the charts. And that is the reason I told you, effective communication is the key to success. It's not like that I understand totally there are fight happens between husband and wife most of the time. Okay, there are small problems. They will come. It's a part of the life. But the main problem will come when there is total communication gap. Many females tend to do this thing. Like, okay, if the guy is not communicating, I will not approach that person back. And that is the reason the relationships are becoming distant, and then one time it's totally breaking apart actually. This is the side impact of the Mercury. And as I told you, it's gaining control over the 6th house. And this is the house of litigations. Any sort of divorces and court cases, they're also seen through this Mercury. And that is the most negative trait of this Graha actually. Because I told you, because of its dual characteristics, its dual nature, Mercury will not be able to find satisfaction up there. Now, the very best way, first of all, is to purify, or is to how to cleanse out the impurities of the Mercury in your chart, is first of all cultivating the purity of thoughts inside you. And I will tell you, everything is going to be funneling it down to the thought factor. Thought mean the kind of thoughts which are evolving or running inside your mind actually. So having first of all the very pure thought processes in your mind, and I will tell you how you will ask me how the purity of the thoughts will coming. It's going to be coming by doing sadhana, specifically mantra sadhanas. Any chanting of mantras which are connected with Lord Vishnu, because Mercury is in our Vedic tradition, Mercury represents Lord Vishnu, Shri Hari Vishnu. So chanting Vishnu Sahasranam, even just reciting the image of Vishnu in your mind, you see any image of Lord Vishnu, so that Vishnu is always smiling most of the time. Okay, so that smiling face is that Mercury. So specifically the purity of thoughts will eventually going to be coming if specifically you are worshipping Lord Vishnu, any form, maybe in the form of Sri Ram. If you look in our Vedic tradition as well, all the avatars which were taken by Lord Vishnu, they were somewhat going to be revolving around the picture of the marriage and the married life aspect. If you look into the Ramayana as well, where the Lord Sri Ram and the Mata Sita, they are having the relationship. So that is although revolving around Lanka, Dahan, Ravan and all these kind of things, but it's also going to be revolving around the marriage and the married life aspect. If you look towards the Leelas of Shri Krishna as well, that is also going to be revolving around the marriage and the married life aspect. So Lord Vishnu have the capacity to protect you from the negative sides of the Mercury. And I will tell you one thing also, cheating is also going to be creating a more negative karmas, which you might be thinking I will not be able to repay in this life, but I will tell you specifically if your Mercury is retrograde, you need to be very careful, because it's going to be then creating a lot of karmic debt inside you. If it is with even retrograde planet sitting anywhere in the chart, it's also the representation of a karmic debt. And this debt will very, very difficult to actually get erased also, because you need to here gain control over the thought processes. So the purity of thoughts are very important, and that is the positive and the negative side of this Mercury. The second important sign, okay, I'm going to be taking Q&A session after this session. Don't worry, please wait little bit, okay. Let me finish Mars also, then we will definitely look into all your questions, okay. So the second side is actually Mars. Now Mars is not like Mercury, it's the total opposite energy, total opposite. Mars is just the opposite energy of planet Mercury actually, because first of all they are totally brutal enemies towards one another. On one hand, Mercury is actually ruining the relationships because of its mischievous nature, its a diplomatic nature also. Whereas on the other hand, Mars is that single most planet in your horoscope that have the capability and capacity to gain control, first of all, over the negative sides of planet Mercury. Because Mars is that single-handed force which is present in your astrological chart that have the capacity to become the number one savior in your marriage and the married life aspect. And that is the reason planet Mars have actually given the most important house, that is the 8th house. So Mars is ruling the 8th house with the sign of Scorpio along with its co-lord planet Ketu. Without Mars, first of all, marriage is not possible. The concept of marriage in our Vedic tradition is coming because of planet Mars. Mangalya Sukh is the concept in our Hindu culture which is coming because of Mars. If you remove planet Mars, then Jupiter, Venus are not going to be doing anything up there. You need to keep that point in your mind. Jupiter and Venus, I totally understand, these are the important grahas. They both signifies and they are the true karka and the true significator of the marriage and the married life aspect. But Mars is the concept behind the marriage actually. Without Mangal, because it's the potency, it's your sexual urja which is present inside you. And this is also the planet along with the Surya. Agni Tattav Graha have the capacity of creation. Creation is only happening because of Agni. Specifically, the trine houses 1st, 5th and 9th, planet Mars, planet Sun and planet Jupiter. They are responsible for creation. And the reason why you people born on this planet Earth is Mars, and that is symbolizes by your ascendant and your first house. That is the reason Mars have given the first house to the sign of Aries in the Kalpurusha Kundli. Now the second important aspect of Mars is with the 8th house. Now many people, they tend to understand, okay, occult sciences knowledge are coming through Jupiter, Venus, Rahu and Ketu. No. Many people are considering like I'm learning Vedic astrology because of Venus or Jupiter. No, it's actually the Mars. Because it's the controller of the 8th house. So any urja, any knowledge which is coming through 8th house, and the subjects like Vedic astrology are actually coming through the 8th house. So having a very well positioned Mars in your astrological horoscope will first of all make you a very good astrologer. Even if you want to make money, I have seen many students nowadays, because there are many astrologers that are actually training, teaching the students to become the future astrologers as well. So specifically you need to pay attention towards your Mars. If you want to monetize this Vidya, this knowledge of astrology into your profession, having a strong Mars is a necessity. Without having a strong Mars connection with your money houses, it's not possible for you to monetize this Vidya. Because this Vidya is this knowledge, ancient knowledge is coming through Mars. That is the reason it's gaining the sign of Scorpio. And 8th house in Vedic astrology with regards to or with the context of the marriage is the utmost important house. Utmost, I will tell you. 7th house is only marriage, okay? If you want to determine the yogas of marriage, 7th house will tell you the yoga of marriage. But once you get married, you are having the rest of your life with you. You are having next 40 years in front of you, 50 years you are going to be spending with that person rest of your life. So 7th house is only that one event, okay? It's the confirming factor. If the 7th house is there, yes, okay, it's confirmed. The event of marriage is there and 100% you are going to be getting married. So what after marriage? What is going to be happening after marriage is then going to be determined using your 8th house. Because this is that storage house. It's this. I've even made videos over the storage of karmas, many other videos as well, specifically with context to the 5th house and other placements also. But here specifically 8th house is that storage house of the marriage and the marital life aspect. It's the stored karma. What you are going to be reaping out from your marriage and the marital life aspect is seen through 8th house. And that is where the strength of 8th house and 8th house Lord, even the planet sitting in the 8th house, is actually going to be determining your marriage or the long-term aspect of the marriage and the married life aspect. Because this is the longevity. How long the marriage is going to be sustaining into your life is determined using 8th house, and it's ruled by the sign of Scorpio, which means Mars. So Mars is the planet, a dignified Mars. I will tell you, this is going to be fight with other persons. You see in few couples or in a husband and wife relationship, where few people or few partners are very protective, like they will never let you down, never ever in your entire life. No matter what the worst case scenarios are going to be happening, still the other partner is going to remain with you, consistent with you and fighting with you. It's like you both are working as a team. That is actually determined using planet Mangal. Without having the strong Mars into the horoscope, you will not be able to find with the difficulties of the marriage and the marital life aspect. Because just like your career and profession, marriage is also a battlefield. And I will tell you, it's the more battle which you will be able to dealing in the marriage or with the family matters rather than dealing with your career and profession. There are two kinds of battles which you might be facing right now. Maybe you are in the career dilemma or financial problems. So this is the first main problem in your life. But the second main problem is going to be connected with the relationships, marriage or the family aspect. And I will tell you, both of these are big problems. But This problem is more internalized problem. Internalized means it's going to be giving you pain from the inside. And that is the reason if the Mars is not acting in a constructive way. Now here I'm not saying debilitated Mars is not constructive. It's equally constructive. But here you need to be studying the relationship of the Mars specifically with regards to your partner's chart also. Because the combination of both male and female charts together will eventually help us to determine this part. You see, when I'm discussing over the companionship part, emotional love and sexual compatibility, so that part is going to be funneling down to planet Mars. And I have seen many relationships, they are going to be surviving because of out of 5 to 6 compatibilities, even 2 are matching. Few are surviving their marriage bond just on the spiritual compatibility part. Both the partners are equally spiritual and they are surviving their relation. Many a times Mars will eventually help you to survive the relation because it's the intimacy part. Specifically, I will tell you in the initial half of your life, from the age of 25 up till the age of 45 and even 55. You cannot neglect this graha because this is that storage. It's the 8th house. It's the lifespan of a marriage and the married life aspect. And this is the main reason why Mangalya Sukh have given to this planet and not any other planet. You see, 4th house in Vedic astrology, many people call it as the house of conveniences and comforts. The kind of car which you drive, the kind of bungalow in which you are living is seen through 4th house. Okay, 4th house is your comfort and conveniences. And this is also the house of happiness. 4th house is actually the Mangalya Sukh. Mangalya Sukh means the actual happiness and the satisfaction which you are going to be receiving through the marriage and the married life aspect. Because you need to understand one very important thing here. Mars is a Mangal Sutra for a female which she is wearing around her neck. Now this Mangal Sutra which she is wearing, it's not a chain, it's not a pendant. It's a promise. Mars is the promise. It's, you see, in our Vedic tradition, when the marriage is taking place, so there are total 7 sharat, I don't know what we call it in English, but there are 7 things which the Pandit or the Pujari is going to be telling, okay, if you accept this part, I will come to your right side, I will become Bamange. Okay, if you will be able to obey this thing, then I'm okay, I accept, I will become your wife. If you accept this one also, then you will become my wife. You can search it over Google. So there are total 7 things which the woman is going to be demanding actually. It's the promise which both male and female are going to be making on that auspicious night. Now, simply ask this question, like, are you be able to fulfill that all the promises in your life or not? The 7 promises of marriage. If not, then your Mars is not very well positioned in the chart. Because I will tell you one very important thing here. Planets like Mars, Surya, Sun and Jupiter, they uphold dharma. Okay, 9th house is your dharma. It's the righteous path. No matter what is going to be happening, I will also take a right path most of the time. Recently, I'm actually doing one consultation. Although I don't want to share much negative things with you, but still for the knowledge purpose, you need to have basic understandings. I will give you one example. I will not disclose their identity, name, anything, okay? So there is a female lady came to me for taking the consultation, couple consultation. And that lady is approximately in the late 50s, diagnosed with blood cancer. And the husband came to know about this news actually. My wife is diagnosed with the blood cancer. Now what husband now tries to do, that husband want to get rid of the wife because she is diagnosed with the blood cancer. And I told her actually, like, it's not considered good. She's not, and she's crying in front of me, literally, like, it's, that lady broken into tears actually, like, I have given everything to that one male in my entire life and now this part is happening with me. What did I have did something wrong and this part? in my life or why these things are happening. So you see here the weak Mars will not be able to uphold the dharma. I have seen many other people in my real life examples also, where most of the time, sometime wife is, even if it laying on a bed actually, okay, maybe having some disability, something like that, but still there are few males that uphold dharma, like, okay, I am married to this woman, so I will uphold dharma, and I'm actually offering you the protection by that Mangal Sutra. So it's a promise. It's a promise, like I'm going to be by your side no matter what worst case circumstances are going to be happening. This is the potential of Mangal. And that is the reason why many people are fearful, because of the Mangalic dosh in the charts also. Mars is nothing, it's I told you, it's your sexual urja. Urja means energy, which is actually present inside you. Every person have their own level of sexual desires present inside them. If you are having desires in the highly developed form, if you are having maybe decent, average, or maybe some are having very less sexual drive inside them. Mangalic is the concept. Why it's only Mangal dosh? Why not Brihaspati dosh? Why not Shukra dosh? Why only Mangal dosh? Why it's only Mangal? Why we are not in our Vedic astrology or tradition, we are dealing with the Shani dosh? Shani dosh in the marriage. There is no Shani dosh. There is no Brihaspati dosh in the marriage. No Surya dosh. But there is Mangal dosh. You understand now why, if the Mars is not having any connection with the marriage, then why the Mangal dosh is coming? You need to ask this question. If the planets like Jupiter and Venus are more important in the marriage and the married life aspect, then why the Mangal dosha is only given to planet Mars? Why this dosha is not given to Jupiter? Why this dosha is not given to Mercury? Why this dosha is not given to planet Venus also? Venus is the significant of your marriage. It signifies your relationship. Why it's only given to the Mars actually? Because Mars is the true Karka. It's the actual significator. Jupiter and Venus are only the significance of the marriage. Whether, if you want to check in your life, whether you have the capacity to get married, or if there any yoga present in your chart for you to get married or not, that yogas are only seen through Jupiter and Venus. It's not the driving force for the rest of your life. Because I told you, marriage is not a one-day concept. It's not a 5-day concept. It's not a 1-year concept. It's a lifelong concept. And that part is seen through the 8th house. Because it's that longevity of the marriage, like whatever you are doing, after getting married, whatever you are doing, it's seen through Mangal. Whether you are purchasing a property, you are maybe shifting your jobs, whatever you are doing, maybe creating a baby. Creation is also seen through Mangal and Surya. Agni is actually dharma. You need to understand Mars is the dharma. That Mangal Sutra is not a chain which the females are wearing. That Sindhur, the red color you see, that Sindhur is not actually, it's not a red color, it's a promise. It's actually the promise which they both are promising on that auspicious night, where there are 7 things which the both males and females they will promise in their life. Okay, जिसे हम लोग शादी की 7 शर्तें कहते हैं हिंदी में, कि मैं 7 शर्तें शादी की रखती हूँ, and you need to obey these things. Now whether you will be able to obey that 7 things of the marriage or the married life aspect, it's actually seen through Mangal, and that is the reason it's your Mangalya Sukh. This is the planet. I will tell you, many times people came to me for taking consultations when there is a total worst case scenarios going on, like divorce situations are happening. They have filed the divorce and they will ask me one very simple question, like, Nikhilji, please tell us whether this relationship is going in the positive side after 1, 2, 3, 5 years or not. Because I told them simply one thing, sometime yes, dasha antardasha is also very bad. That is the reason why you are facing some problems in your marriage and married life aspect. Once this antardasha of planet is going to be ending in the next 1.5 to 2 years, so everything is going to be completely fine. It's not a big problem for you. But still, I will tell you, still, There are few tricky situations actually. If you do consultations on daily basis, you understand what this tricky situations I'm talking about. In that tricky situation, it's becoming very difficult for an astrologer to give guidance actually, because it's also our moral duty. The very first duty of an astrologer is to give optimism, hope, even if there is total negative chart. I have seen few charts total negative, blank. But still it's my duty to give hope to other person. It's my moral duty actually. Similarly in the marriage part also. I'm not here to actually break the marriage is okay, go and get a divorce. No, I'm not that kind of a person. I try to analyze, or first of all initially look for all the practical methods on how to protect and save this part. But in few cases, 1%, 2% cases where there is no hope actually. Even in that cases, if the Mangal is prominently posited in the chart, this is going to be totally shifting the marriage and the married life aspect into the positive way. Because Mars is the planet that is the actual fighter. That is the reason why many people considering Mars in the sign of Cancer, it's debilitated and it's exalted in the sign of Capricorn in the 10th house of a career. It's half truth actually. Many people consider Jupiter, although consider not, it's okay there. Mars is debilitated in the 4th house because it's the sign of Cancer. And Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. So what Jupiter is becoming exalted, and you will see if you are in the field of Vedic astrology, pick up the charts with the debilitated Mars and exalted Jupiter. Jupiter in the sign of Cancer and Mars in the sign of Cancer. The most worst case scenarios are going to be with Jupiter in the sign of Cancer. Mars in the sign of Cancer is still not a big problem in the marriage and married life aspect. The main reason why it's actually getting debilitated into your 4th house, because it's a fighter. Mars is the planet that actually represents the Mangalya Sukh, and Mangalya Sukh is going to be attained over fighting with the battle with the rest of the world. The first battle is with your family. That is the reason this Mangal Graha is debilitated in the 4th house. Have you seen the Mahabharat? The great Mahabharat. It's not a fight which is happening between the different countries. No, it's the family members which they are fighting with one another. And that is the reason Mars is debilitated in the 4th house. Because when any planet tend to uphold dharma, there is no role of fighter in the home actually. But I will tell you, most of the time, it's the end case result actually. Like when nothing is going to be happening through the communication part. Like suppose through communication, you will not be able to solve any problems in the relationships. Not only with your partner, it may be with your family members also. You tend to communicate your part and now you are all done. They are not listening to you. Then where the Mars will come. Then it's going to be fighting a battle like a true Kshatriya. You see Shri Krishna and the Arjun. And Shri Krishna is actually having the conversation Sambad with the Arjuna, and Arjuna is not be able to take his bow and arrow in front of Bhisham Pitama initially, because that thoughts, that memories are actually coming. It's the family memories which that small child that Arjuna have born and brought up with. But still Arjuna is killing, okay, the Bhisham Pitama. So that act of killing someone, it's Mars. That is the reason it's debilitated in the 4th house, because in order for you to protect your Mangalya Sukh means your marriage and the married life aspect. In order to protect your family, your kids also, you need to build some fence around it, and that is Mangal. And this is the planet I told you which will uphold dharma at any cost. No other planet is going to be upholding dharma. It's only the fire. I will tell you one thing, the reason why even from the past 1.5 to 2 years I'm keep on stressing the importance of the trines also, like trines are important, fire zodiac signs are important, Sagittarius is powerful, Aries is powerful, Leo. Agni, I will tell you, is the element. Fire is the element which is very, very important element. Now here I'm not saying other elements are not important. Akash Tattav is important. Watery element are also important. Earth element is important. But without fire, it becomes very difficult for other elements to exist actually. Because the first sign is the sign of Aries. It's ruled by Mangal. Mangal is a Agni Tattav Graha. It's a fire. Without fire, creation will not happen. Many people consider fire as the cause of destruction. You will see the Nataraja behind me. You see, it's Lord Shiva dancing actually. And dancing Shiva is having fire in one hand and Damru is in one hand. And Damru is actually considered as creation and the fire is known as a destruction. Now you need to understand the concept of construction and destruction is in the mind of a human being. But if you try to look your life from a singular perspective, like it's no life, it's like, okay, you are taking birth, you are dying, but still your Atman, that is your soul actually, Surya. Soul means your Atman. So Atma never dies, only the body dies. So if you want to actually, like in your mind, if in your thought processes, you will be able to blend this thing actually, like, okay, human being is lifespan maybe from 0 to 70 to 80 years of age. But Atman lifespan is unlimited. So if the Atman, the soul, the Surya, you see the Surya in the Akash, that is the reason it's also the soul significator. It's again fire, because fire never dies. Very difficult, okay. So fire is that creation, it's that creation. Fire is not destruction. I understand fire in some negative form is destruction, but even if you perform some yajna, some havana as well, you are giving ahutis to the fire. You chant the mantra maybe of Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmi Vandanan Mrityur Mukshya. Any mantra chanting which you are doing is actually associated with the fifth house. It's associated with the Surya. Surya have the capability and capacity to channelize the mantras. Any mantra of Devi as well, Durga. So suppose you are saying, okay, Om, Am, Hrim, Klim, Chamundaya, Viche, even Fat, Swaha. So when you are saying Swaha, you are offering something to fire. So you are giving something to fire. So fire is not destroying that thing. It's a superficial judgment. You might be thinking fire is burning everything apart. No. Anything which you give to fire is transmuted to some supreme energy. It's acting as a medium of transmutation between you and the God actually. And that is the reason why the sign of Sagittarius have given your next lives actually. Because after your death, you are not be able to carry forward anything with you. Anything. Your land, real estate, property, clothes, everything will going to remain there. But it's only your tapasya, tap mean any sadhanas which you perform, any chanting of mantras which you perform, any good deeds which you perform, they are going to be transmuted into the next life. And that is the reason why the fifth house is given to the past life and why the ninth house is given to the next life actually. You need to understand this concept of the fire here. Fire is not only responsible for burning or destruction. Fire is the element of creation. That is the reason the fifth house of your past life deeds, your Purva Sanchita Karma, is ruled by Agni. And that is also the reason why your next life that is seen through ninth house is again ruled by Agni. Agni means fire with the Dhanu Rashi. So fire is responsible for actually creation and even destruction at the same time. But if you try to look this concept from the Surya perspective, from the Atman perspective, so it's only the body which is dying actually. And that body which is dying is Mars. That is your physical self. Mars is not only the protector of the society or the world actually. Mars is the actual protector of your fifth and the ninth house. Don't think like that Mars is only soldier and these are the policemen which are protecting our nation. No, Mars is the protector in all the fields. Mars is a good husband also. It's a Devi also, the good partner which is protecting the family. So Mars is the actual protector of the marriage and the married life aspect. And that is the reason Mars and Mercury, they don't mingle with one another. These two planets, these mentalities, these graha urjas are totally different urjas. That is the reason these two grahas, they don't tend to go along with one another. Because one is the planet that is upholding dharma at any cost. Mangal is offering protection to the trine houses as well. Mangal is even considering Surya as a father. Okay, if you read ancient Puranas also, Mangal is the Bhumi Putra. Bhumi means the earth, okay? And Mars is friendly with both the graha. Mars is friendly to Surya as well. That is the reason Surya tend to become exalted into the sign of Aries in the first house. It's not like that Surya is not giving or paying any tribute to the Mangal graha, because Mars is the sacrificing nature of a person. If you want to understand how you will be able to give number of sacrifices in your life, that is seen through Mars. How big you will be able to sacrifice yourself for the society is Mars actually. That is the reason why the Raja means the king, Surya is a king. So the king is paying tribute to the soldier. It's the Mangal graha, to that protector. That is the reason it's actually becoming exalted up there. So there is a special relation between the Surya and this Mangal graha. That is the reason why these trines are very, very important. Even in order for you to actually check your marriage and married life aspect also, pay special attention towards the trine houses. Maybe I will take some separate live session where I will be keep on or continuing this discussion with you over this trine houses concept, and we'll discuss this part. But I hope you actually got my point, where I'm trying to say, where I'm actually trying to lead you. Okay, Vedic astrology is not actually just the subject which is only used for the prediction or the predictive purposes. It's actually the Jyotish. Jyotish means the Gyan, it's the light. Light is again Surya. So everything you need to understand. Mangal, and I will tell you, worshipping Lord Hanuman is also going to be protecting. Fasting on Tuesday is also very helpful. Chanting Durga Sapshati is also going to be very, very helpful. Because any remedy that you do towards Mangal graha is actually going to be offering the protection factor into the marriage and married life aspect. Okay. So this is from the live session, and I believe I have given more than enough time in this session, but I hope you have gained some insights, and thank you so much for all your love, affection, support. And I don't know whether many people are having such longer like attention span nowadays, because they keep on scrolling reels most of the time. So when you keep on scrolling the reels, your attention span will become very less. Then it become very difficult for you people to watch 50-60 minutes long hour sessions actually. But true knowledge is only going to be coming in some long sessions. It's not be able to possible for me to give all that information in just 1 second or 5 seconds. Okay. But thank you once again for your love, care, affection. And I will now very soon jump on to many new things. I'm actually doing something new. So it's a total surprise. I will keep you posted over that part over the YouTube platform as well. And once again, thank you so much, and please take care of yourself. Hare Krishna.